there is something that's vitally important around energy security. In the United States, when steam trains set off from the east coast to the west coast, they started running on coal because they were close to the coal fields of Philadelphia and so forth, and Pennsylvania. As they went further west, where forestry was abundant and coal wasn't, they switched to burning wood. So the steam engine could at least run on two fuel. The petrol engine car, is disturbingly dependent on what can get through the Straits of Hormuz. One thing I'd love people to appreciate is that electricity can be generated by more or less anything, whether it's wind power, solar, tidal, hydro, the whole list. Any form of energy can be electrified. If you have a petrol engine car, it's fundamentally dependent on one fuel source. And ultimately, it's a medium-term aspiration. The likelihood you can have really, really cheap energy through the intelligent use of power, intelligent both in terms of place and time of day and moment. We haven't actually sold that promise into people. We've sold this in as a kind of hair-shirted thing, which is it's a price we have to pay in order to meet net zero targets. And in the short term, yes, maybe that's exactly what it is. In the longer term, we do have the promise, by electrifying everything, of having a very, very high level of efficiency and consumption, enormously high levels of efficiency and consumption, which will then bring with it extraordinarily low cost in terms of the cost of energy. I think it's just important for people to understand that. How do we get across how much more efficient an electric motor is compared to a petrol engine? All the electric cars still had snow on the hood or on the bonnet. All the petrol cars, even if they'd only come from 3 or 4 miles away, it had melted off. Fundamentally, I don't think consumers understand that very, very important point, which is the electric motor is 80–90% efficient in terms of converting energy into forward momentum. In terms of the gasoline engine, it's in the 20s. Because, of course, we don't really mentally compare apples with oranges very well, and a kilowatt hour and a litre of fuel don't really seem comparable. I would love to come up with some sort of measure which allowed people to appreciate the extraordinary extent to which electric cars convert energy into mobility 4 or 5 times better than is done through the medium of fossil fuels. What we need in cities is something that shuttles us around at 20 miles an hour. That's relatively small, easy to park, efficient, clean, not noisy, and you can achieve that electrically.